Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome. My name is Denim Blonde, and I thought it would be fun to combine two of my likes of spooky stuff and makeup together. And for my first story, normally I do gaming, and I do very much enjoy that, but I wanted to kind of branch out and do something with makeup, which I do makeup with my streaming, but I thought it would be fun to record something. And I sorted through some stories and I decided on, for my first story, Henry Rathbone. I had never heard about this before through all my history classes, through all of the pages of spooky stuff that I read late at night. I had never heard of the story before. I thought it was very interesting, so I wanted to share it with everybody while I did my makeup. But I thought it would be fun to talk about a historic crime, because we know so much about the murder itself of Abraham Lincoln, but diving more into it, it just got weirder and weirder and more complex. But grab a drink, sit down, grab a snack, and we shall talk about Henry Rathbone and his descent into madness. So with the power of editing, I'm going to put on my ears and we're going to get into this story. Oh, it would help if I had a mirror. Another thing to add onto this tiny little desk. Okay, so a little background information. Henry Rathbone was born July 1st, 1837 in Albany, New York. His father, Jared Rathbone, had died in 1845, and his mom, Pauline, she remarried a U.S. Senator, Ira Harris, and because of that marriage is actually how Henry met his future fiancée, Clara Harris, who she was born on September 4th, 1834 in Albany, New York as well, and she was an American socialite. They grew a friendship together, and the friendship blossomed into love. So their engagement got interrupted by the Civil War. So after the ending of the Civil War, the fateful day on April 14th, 1865, Henry and Clara got invited by Mary Todd Lincoln to go see the play Our American Cousin. And the weird, fateful thing is they weren't the first couple that Mary Todd had asked. They were actually more like the seventh couple. So with the events of... So as the play was going on, John Wilkes Booth had actually snuck up the back of the staircase and at 10:15 fatally shot the president in the back of the head. It's so crazy to think about because we've seen the pictures of Henry and Clara sitting next to the president, or the artist's rendition of the photograph, but we never learn about him or learn about his story. John Wilkes Booth snuck up the back of the staircase during the height of the play, and at 10:15 shot the president in the back of the head. Henry jumped up quick to action, grabbed on to Booth's coat, and tried to detain him. But in the scuffle, John Wilkes Booth ended up falling over the balcony, causing him to fall on stage. Some accounts say that he broke his leg during the fall. Some say he did not break his leg until later. But during the scuffle, Henry had received a 7-inch wound between his elbow and his shoulder, and it severed an artery. Clara sat with Mary Todd Lincoln while her husband had passed later that evening. After the incident, Henry's mental state really started to decline. He was haunted by not being able to thwart the assassination on the president. And every year on the anniversary, it seemed to take a little more out of him each time, from prying journalists that would ask him about the incident. He does end up marrying Clara on July 1st, or he does end up marrying Clara on July 11th, 1867. They do end up having 3 children together. So Henry at this time is plagued with health problems. Some of the symptoms he reported are nerve pain in the neck and face, heart palpitations, difficulty breathing. Also at this time, he would accuse Clara of infidelity. He would be very jealous of the attention that she paid to the children, attention that she would get from other men. He would start making threats to Clara when he suspected that she was going to divorce and leave him. So to seek further treatment for Henry, the family decided to move to Germany. So another thing that I found very interesting about this is the dress that Clara wore the night of the assassination, she kept. She posed for a photograph with it to try and move on from that night and put that behind her, but she kept the dress. She never got rid of the dress. She didn't burn the dress, anything like that. She kept the dress in an armoire, and when they moved to Europe, she actually had the dress walled up in their Albany home, walled up into the house. Which is crazy to think, if you own an old home, what is hiding behind a fake wall. So after Henry is not able to really hold down a job, the family decides to move to Germany to seek help for him, or try and get him better help or some answers to what is happening. It really seems like Henry is going through PTSD or something to that effect. I'm not a doctor, but definitely something that physicians at that time were not really able to handle. But something I found really interesting, besides the story, when I was reading into it, is Clara Harris's dress. It's called the Haunted Satin Dress. So while the Rathbones were in Germany, there were some weird reportings. While the dress was walled into the house in Albany. One account said that a shot was heard ringing on the anniversary of the assassination. More people claimed to see the ghost of Abe Lincoln. And there's also reports of seeing a sobbing woman wearing blood-soaked attire as well. What color should I do? There ended up being so many prevalent stories that there was a book written about the dress called The White Satin Dress, based upon the hauntings. Very interesting. Very interesting to think about a dress being attached to something so traumatic. Something that, while I was reading more into it, so many people's lives took a crazy turn after Lincoln's assassination. Like a cursed event. Almost. Yeah, blue eyes. Blue and purple. Like bruise eyes. So, back to the story in Henry. After they arrived to Germany, things started to get worse. And Henry's mental state ended up plummeting more. He became more depressed, more erratic. And very delusional as well. And all this time, he's still accusing Clara of wanting to leave him, wanting to divorce him, and take the children. And on December 23rd, 1883, everything just kind of comes to a head. And there are a few accounts of what happened that night. But Henry was trying to go into the kids' room armed, similarly to how John Wilkes Booth was during the assassination, with his pistol and his knife. Tried to go into the children's room. And Clara led him away to protect the children. One account says that she led Henry to their bedroom and closed the door. And Henry ended up shooting his wife in the head. Killing her. And he also tried to kill the children as well. It's said that a groundskeeper or a maid was able to stop him, so he tried to commit suicide by stabbing himself in the chest 5 times. Henry tried to blame an intruder with the murder that happened, but Henry was found guilty of murder and found clinically insane by doctors. So he didn't go to jail. He was admitted to an asylum for the criminally insane in Heidelsheim, Germany, and he ended up passing away on August 14th, 1911. And he ended up being buried with Clara. And the haunted white dress does end up meeting an end. The eldest son, Henry, a year after his father's death in 1910, breaks down the brick enclosure in the Albany home of this haunted silk white dress, and he ends up burning it, saying that it cast a curse over his family. It's just a very interesting all-around story. Please, please, please like and subscribe. I had so much fun making this. I hope you enjoyed watching, and until next time, goodbye!